guys, today I'm going to be doing a video on one of my favourite authors, showing all her books. I have all of her books except for one which is coming out literally in like a couple weeks, and I'll be doing a review on that. Her name is Colleen Hoover. If you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that she's like my all-time favourite author. I love every single word she writes. Like, she is such a good author. Every one of her books, when I start reading it, I just love it from the start. I just think she's amazing and she always shocks me. If you need a book where you just have no idea what's going to happen, read one of her books. Like, they are amazing. I'm thinking of showing the books like in the order that I read them, and then I'll say the order that I feel like they maybe should be read in. The first book that I read was It Ends With Us. This book tackles a lot of abuse, like relationship abuse. So there's a girl called Lily and she grew up in Boston. She had a boyfriend in Boston, and yeah, things kind of didn't turn out too well, but she gets on with her life and she meets this guy called Ryle, and he's kind of very confident, stubborn, assertive. Oh, you're just so in love with these characters. I found Lily very likeable, and Ryle I was like in love with from the start. This book literally changed my life. Reading this book made me feel so many things. In the acknowledgements at the end, Colleen talks a bit about her family life and some of the things that are in the book that kind of related to stuff that had happened in her life. So it's all very real, very raw. Just, yeah, this book is amazing. Probably my favourite one out of all of them. It's slightly different to the rest of them, but still so good. So good. All of them are amazing. Love this. After reading that one, because I was recommended it through my Goodreads page, I was like, I've got to get another Colleen Hoover book. And it was coming up to my birthday. Dan bought me Hopeless. This one is probably, I feel like this one's the most shocking out of all of them. This totally unpredictable, so good, really beautiful. Like, the storyline is insane. You read through it and it's not like a long kind of thing where you're just waiting for something to happen. There's always things happening, but once you get to like almost the end, you're just like, whoa, what? And you're like reading it and you're just, it's so good, and then it just so much goes down and it's crazy. I was crying my eyes out, shouting at the book like, no, this can't happen, and it was so good. So after reading this one, I bought a couple books, but I got this one, which was a special signed limited edition copy, and it's got the lovely Peter Griffin Peters? His name is Griffin Peterson. His music is in one of the other books, which I'll get to in a minute. That's him on the back. So this book is basically the same as Hopeless, but in the guy's point of view. His name's Holder, Dean Holder, and I started to think, oh, is this just like exactly the same story? But then there's like so many more things actually in it. So this one, yeah, amazing, and the ending really got me, and I really want like another book with those two characters. Talking of those two characters, I then also got this one called Finding Cinderella. It's a little novella, and it's basically with a couple of the characters from Hopeless and Losing Hope, and it's Dean's best friend Daniel. And it's, I think in Losing Hope there's like a little snippet of this kind of thing happening that happens in this book, and you're kind of like, you want to know more, but you don't really find out anything until you read this book. And I think this is probably the funniest book out of all of them. I was like laughing, and I loved this one, and Daniel is actually one of my favourite characters out of like everyone in all her books. He is just funny and sweet and amazing. And yeah, this one's really funny and lush, and it's tiny, so I literally read it in like a few hours. So yeah, really good. Then I bought the series that she has called Slammed and then Point of Retreat, and then This Girl. These books, I think once I got into like the cohorts community, that's Colleen Hoover's little fan name, once I got into it, so many people were like, oh, you should read Slammed first, like always start with them. Slammed was like the first book she wrote. Slammed is basically like, it sounds like it would be like a sexual book. There's literally not much sex in this. This is for like young adult. It's so good. The poetry in this, it's all to do with slammed poetry, where they're kind of like up on stage being really loud and enthusiastic, kind of acting it out. I'd never heard of slam poetry before this. This book is so good, and the characters in it are amazing. Basically, there's a girl called Laken, and her mum and her sister, no, her mum and her brother move into a new house, and opposite them is a boy called Will, and his younger brother. So the two young boys, Laken's brother and Will's brother, they instantly become like best friends. So Laken and Will kind of clicking, a lot happens, and it's amazing, and the poetry is just incredible. So Point of Retreat is in the male character Will's point of view. I think that kind of like stumped me when I read it, and I was like, oh, we're not going to hear any more from Laken, but it is amazing. You actually get to see his side of things, and it's not like, it kind of has a few flashbacks I think, but it's mainly carrying on from the last book, which I loved, and I was so glad that it wasn't just like going into the same story but in a different point of view. Yep, that one's amazing. And then This Girl is the last one, and it's like a full-on wrap-up of their story. I feel like you can read the first two books without reading this one, because it's basically just kind of like lots of flashbacks in Will's point of view from the first book, which you don't really get in the second book. So it's them kind of like talking about everything that happens. Hopefully isn't like a spoiler, but yeah, this book's super duper good. So after that one, I'm pretty sure the next one I read was Confess. This one has been made into a TV series. I've watched the TV series. I do prefer the book, but the TV series is good too. So this one is about a girl called Auburn. You don't know what's going on in her life, but it's a bit of a mess to start with. She's been through a lot of stuff, and she sees a sign on a little door that says help wanted or help needed or something, and it is a guy called Owen, and he has his own art gallery, and he basically takes people's confessions anonymously, gets people to just post their confessions into a little letterbox, and then he paints art from from people's confessions, which is super cool, and like I loved that kind of aspect to it. I thought that was really cool, and yes, things blossom from there. Then I'm pretty sure the next ones I read were the Never Never series, which is by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. They both wrote it together. You have part 1, part 2 and part 3. Recently I also bought the full book with all 3 books inside it, and it's signed by Colleen and Taryn. I don't know if they sell the individual ones anymore and if they're just selling these ones, but I'm really glad that I've got both. I read these books really, really fast. I really liked them. They're very, very, very different from Colleen's other stuff. I'd say these books, well, this main series is more Taryn Fisher's style of writing. It's more like kind of mysterious, and there's still the amazing romance and still the great wittiness between the characters, which both Taryn and Colleen do really well. But I do feel like this had more of Taryn in it, which I don't know if that is correct or not, or if they had like a totally split in half thing. But yeah, it's very mysterious, and you're kind of like left a little bit confused, especially towards the ends of each one. I do feel like there's parts, even at the end of like part 3, the last one, where it is still kind of like, I'm a bit confused here, but they are great and I really enjoyed reading them, and it's not usually the kind of book that I'd pick up, like if I knew what it was about. I don't think I'd really pick it up, but I did really enjoy it, and I feel like people who enjoy kind of mystery, romancy things would really enjoy it. So yeah, Never Never. Then the next one that I read was Ugly Love, and this one this one struck a chord with me. I don't even know what to say about it. There's something that happens, you have to read it to find out, because it's a huge, massive thing in the book. Oh, it made me angry. Like, a couple of Colleen's books have made me angry because they have like people in them that are meant to make you angry. I loved this book, and the romance in it was super duper cute and like very back and forward and annoying, but like in a good way, if that makes sense. There was just a bit in here that really upset me, and it's mainly just because I'm a mum. It's just a book, Poppy, it's just a book. But yeah, this one, very, very good, amazing. But the tears came. So after that one, I read Maybe Someday, little tabby things for some of the songs in here. This book was probably like the most weird experience, like amazing experience I've ever had with a book, because it has music in it, and I've never read a book where you have to listen to a song. It has like a whole album, all done by Griffin Peterson. The songs are amazing. It's just so good. And as I was reading it, like when you're reading the beginning part, you're just like, oh, this is gonna be a really cute book, but it's not like that. These books are so unpredictable. Oh, Colleen, she packs things in there that shock you or catch you off guard. She's very off guard catching. So this book was amazing, and the music, like you just have a page where the song pops up with the lyrics, and you could just read the lyrics and not listen to the song, but I found the songs and it has like the title above it, and I just went onto my phone, clicked the song, listened to it as I was reading. It was like the weirdest experience, and this book made me feel so productive afterwards, because I love doing music, like playing piano and singing and stuff. I feel like after reading it, it made me feel really productive. And then after reading that, I went straight into reading Maybe Not, which is with the two other characters in the book, the two roommates. This one is very funny. It's similar, like it's another novella one, so it's very small, and it's similar to Finding Cinderella. There's a lot of comedy in it. This one is actually hilarious, it's so good. Great novellas. Then I read Without Merit, and this one is again very different, like the Never Never series, but nothing like the Never Never series. It's different in my opinion to the other books. This one was probably my least favourite. I still really enjoyed it and thought it was really good, but I don't know, there was just something about it. I didn't really like the characters that much. The main girl, Merit, just kind of annoyed me. Like, I just found her really annoying. And it does deal with mental illness and suicide and stuff like that. And I feel like this one didn't have as much romance, and it's definitely more of a sophisticated one, but I still really enjoyed it and I do still recommend it. I almost feel like maybe if you start on this one, then maybe the other ones might suddenly seem like way better. But yeah, I'd still read it, like I'd still recommend people reading it. It just wasn't quite my cup of tea. Then I read November 9. This one was amazing, like so good. It made me cry loads. The characters were just lush. And there's a piece of fluff. Really cute. It's very similar to, what's it called? Kind of like Love Rosie kind of books where it's long breaks in between seeing the person. The two characters see each other every November 9th. It's frustrating in points, but it is so good. You just have to pick it up. It's so good. So good. And heartbreaking. Utterly heartbreaking. Then the last one that I read was Too Late. I've done a separate review on my channel for this book. with spoilers in, but the beginning bit's like non-spoiler. This book is crazy. It's possibly one of the biggest ones. I think it might be. She just kept going and going. Basically it was like a live book that she was doing on an app called Wattpad, and she was doing it kind of like writing in bursts, so writing a bit and then going off, and people could read it as it was up there, and then writing more. And the characters, there's a couple characters in this that are crazy. So you get so frustrated with one of the main characters in this book, and it's told in like a bunch of different points of views, and it's just crazy and amazing and crazy and lovely and insane. So that's all the books. She's also currently writing a book on Wattpad, which is the kind of second/third book for Maybe Someday. I say /third because it's the Maybe Not one, which is only a novella, whereas this book that she's writing now is way bigger than a novella, and she's calling it Maybe Now, and I'm absolutely loving that, and I'm up to date with that, but she hasn't updated it yet, so just waiting for more of that. So I'm gonna suggest the order that I feel these books should be read in. I'd say first would be Without Merit. So this would either be the first one or maybe the last one, or maybe just in between. So this one could literally be like anywhere, but it is a good book and I would recommend reading it. Then I would recommend reading the Slammed series, Slammed, Point of Retreat, and then This Girl, if you want to read This Girl. It's got some amazing slammed poetry in it, so I do think it's worth reading and it's really cute. Then I would recommend reading Maybe Someday, and then Maybe Not, and then Maybe Now once it's like fully out, and also listening to the music with Maybe Someday. This isn't like a set order, I'd say just read any of them that you want to read. Then I would read probably Ugly Love, and then straight on to November 9, because there's a couple characters from Ugly Love in November 9, and while it's still fresh in your mind, I think it's really cool because I read Ugly Love like quite a bit before November 9, and I read one of the characters and I was like, I swear she's used that name before, and then I was like, oh my god, that's one of the characters from Ugly Love. So yeah, really cool, makes a little appearance in it. Then I would read, I'd say Like Without Merit. You could read these whenever. The Never Never series, these are kind of like separate from this whole thing. The next one I'd read would be Confess. Confess was great. This book is so good. You can see these like stacking up. Then I would read Too Late, and then Hopeless. Or I don't even know. You could literally read these in any order. Like I read Hopeless as my second book. I'd say this, the order I'm kind of doing this in is like more PG, kind of like young adult books going up into slightly older books with more stuff happening. So yeah, Hopeless, then Losing Hope, and then Finding Cinderella. Last but not least, It Ends With Us, my favourite one. You could read this one first like I did, but again it's a very dark one, very hard hitting, and I feel like it's definitely more adult than young adult. It is my favourite, so if you're already planning on reading one or two of her books and want to go into reading all of them, then I'd probably recommend this one the most. Oh, I loved all of them, guys. They're so good. So that's all of Colleen's books, excluding Maybe Now, which is on Wattpad, which is amazing as well, but not complete yet. And her new book, which is coming out this month on the 17th, is called All Your Perfects, and that one I think is probably going to be quite different to these ones as well, because it's much older characters and they're married, and it's to do with like married life and everything. I've read the first few pages of that book that she posted recently online, and instantly, like all the other books, I was hooked from the first page and loved it, so I'm super excited for that to arrive and for me to read that and then let you guys know what I think. Thanks for watching, guys. There's a bit of fluff. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and comment below and all that stuff. I'll see you next time. Bye. 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 Bye.